Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm going to show you a deck profile, which is Bermuda Triangle, and it's a melody build. So if you have already seen my five videos, you can see how strong this deck is, and it's my friend's deck. So he allows me to borrow it and do a deck profile since I actually don't play Bermuda until this set until I see reindeer, so I decided to actually make one just for reindeer, which you will see later is a Highlander build. But today we are going to focus on melody part, which is more kind of easier to play, and for people who wants to join in Bermuda will probably be a deck that you will enjoy the most. If you are like wanting to have a higher win rate with something that is kind of easy to pilot, because it doesn't involve a lot of complicated actions, but at the same time it's very strong. So yeah, if you are looking into getting a Bermuda deck, if you're new and you can afford a little bit expensive, even though they are like lower rarity, the melody deck is probably your choice. So for anyone who have no idea what melody does, is basically a keyword exclusive skill to Bermuda Triangle that tells you if a unit has a melody ability, their own ability will also be granted to all of your other units with melody abilities. So say if one of the melody cards say when the attack hits, draw one, and the other one say if your attack hits, retire one unit. So if you have both on the field, both units will get both skills. So both of them, when they attack hits, they can draw one and retire one. And if you have like three of the ones that say if attack hits, draw one, if one of them attack hits, you will draw three. Two of them attack hits, you will draw another three. Another attack hits, you will draw another three. So the skills will also be stacking, depending on how many melody skill you have on your units, and they will just share around. So that's melody. Yeah, so let's go into the deck content itself. So of course, starter. And next, the legend of the deck is Star and Stage Plan. So Plan first has a melody skill to share all her skills, and then her next skills is during all main phase and battle phase, including yours and your opponent's, this card will get all the skills of the units in your soul who has melody ability that is not plot. So you won't be able to copy plot skill if you have multiple copies of plot in your soul, but you can copy all of your units in your soul with melody skill, and of course they stack. So if you have like 3 copies of the same card that is not plot with melody abilities, they will be kind of like printed on this card for 3 times. So this is what makes this card very, very strong, because if you stack up a good soul, then you probably can create a massive power boost on your whole board and apply many different abilities we will be seeing in a bit. And her second skill is an active Vanguard Circle skill once per turn, counterblast 1, and put one regard with melody ability into your soul. You first draw 1, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, you will be able to get a Force or a Excel or a Protect, which usually you will be adding a Excel to, so you can draw extra card and you have an extra circle. So what amazing she is not only she copies all the skill from the soul that can bomb up your whole board and make your most of your units very, very strong, and at the same time you can adding extra circle or adding extra PGs depending on what you need, which likely will be more regard circles, so that you can have more attacks, high power, so your opponents can't get all of them. and you get to draw card. And she can put melody units from radar circle to your soul, so you can basically find what you need, place it on radar circle, put her in, and then use that skill. Because some of them will be like a Vanguard circle only skill, and if you call them on radar circle, they can't be used. But once you put them into the soul, if they are not like when appear skill, then you can use them. And Plon, this say she will copy all of the skill of your units with melody ability, not that all your units melody ability. So like for example, if Plon can copy Plon, then this part is not a melody skill. Only this part is a melody skill. So if she can copy, she copy all of the text, not just this part. That's why she is so strong and so impressive. And now let's talk about what skill she can copy. First, for the Sonata, which is your previous main Vanguard, and now you have two sets of main Vanguard. Because if you have a Sonata, even if she cannot copy everything in Soul and can't get you extra markers, she can Color plus 1 and Soul plus 1 and basically get you a melody unit on the field. And her Vanguard and Radar Circle skill can pump all your units by 5k. So if you have like 4 of the Sonata under Plon, all your units will get 20k plus. And you can use Sonata skill, Color plus 1, Soul plus 1, and keep reviewing your deck until you meet a melody unit and call that out. So build up your field and pump your units. So what you usually do is you call a Sonata when your Vanguard is Plon, Color plus 1 and put her in your soul, get a XL2 and basically totally draw 2, and then Color plus 1, Soul plus 1 and fill up another unit. So you use Color plus 1, Color plus 2, Soul plus 1, get an extra circle, draw 2 cards, and plus 1 soul, plus 1 unit. So that's a lot of plus by just having these two pairing together. And the next, there's 3 of the Carol. So she gives all your melody units boost, and when boost get 5k. So that's something that you need to take care of because she plus 5k on everything, but she will only plus 5k on units that boost. But of course, you share. Her Vanguard when appear skill, so by saying 2 and find yourself a carry, usually you won't be using it because you do have a lot of chances to meet them, so you probably won't need to ride her. And then 2 of the cannon, so she is another key card of the deck because her melody skill allows you to, when appear, soul charge. So once you copy her skill with Plon, then every single melody unit you call can soul charge 1. So why you need to soul charge? First, you want to have more skills for Plon to copy, and second, her second active skill, Vanguard Circle skill, is Soul plus 3. During the turn when your opponents need to call Guardians from hand, they need to at least call 2 cards. So even if they want a PG, they need to give you a total of 3 hands, and like these already pump up all the power. So once you start up the guard restriction, and your opponents like have 3 or 4 cards in hand, they probably won't be able to guard all of the attacks because you have your Vanguard attacks, you have at least 2 more, and you probably will have at least 1 extra circle since you have Plon. So yeah, they just can't guard every single attacks. And then these are like optional, which is Fina and Serena. So Serena is on hit if you have 4 or less cards in hand, draw 1. So if you are lacking cards, because sometimes will happen, because you are basically calling units on the field, but you are not exactly drawing cards, except with XL2 and Plon skill to draw. So you might need her to draw. In her Calabash skill is kind of heavy, but she can get you 3 units from drop zone with melody skill. So if you somehow facing a deck that is going to board wipe you, or not making you to able to stand your units or whatever, or limiting your units unless they get locked. You can still counterblast spree and try to find 3 units that you think useful, or like after you soul blast spree with her, and just call them out to fill up your circles again. And Vina basically get your units intercept and 10k shield, so that even if you place your Great Freeze in the front row, they can still sometimes at least be some shield value, and you don't need her to be on the field as long as you put her under your pawn. That skill can be shared. In her Soul Blast 2 skill, to activate the skill, no matter if like the on his skill, no matter hit or not, is not that important, because most likely you will just be pairing with your Serena, but just there in case you did. So entering Grade 2s, we have 4 Sonata so that you can pump 5k when attacking Vanguard, and it's a melee skill so it can get shared around. It's a lot so you can fill up your soul or fill up your field, or do some early rush. So these are simples. And why we are only running 8 grade 2s and so many grade 3s is because of the following. First, we have 4 of the Meep, which is a new rare card from the set. So her skill is when she appears, counterblast 1, look at top 7 cards of the deck, and then you can reveal up to 2 units with melody skill that having different name. You add up to 1 into your hand, up to 1 into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So she basically, unless you're going first and ride her, then usually you can use her skill no matter what. And she look at top 7, so search for yourself 2 melody cards, maximum 1 to soul, so help your pawn to fill up the soul, and also help you to find your Sonata as grade 2 or other grade 3s that you want to ride. So yeah, this card basically supports how heavy on grade 3s ratio that we are doing, and you always want to open your, like having your opponent hand with her so that you can do some search. And then I'm having 4 of the Seer, so she's another melody searcher. As long as you soul last one and reveal a grade 3 when she appears on Riga Circle, which is quite easy because you always have your starter. So even if you're going first, you need to ride her, can't use her skill because your opponent is grade 0 and you have no damage. But you can always use her skill, trying to search yourself a grade 2 or grade 3 so that you can guarantee your ride. And since you have strong search, and you can also try to use her to search, which makes your deck usually won't that easy to misride. Of course, sometimes it happens, but if you don't open your hands with these, you probably just shuffle your whole hand until you meet them, and then you probably can just skip the deck running. If trigger lineups, we are running 8 crits, 4 draws, and 4 heals. So it's kind of a basic lineup, and since you're pushing your opponents that much, I would say if you are riding, your force option will likely be force 2, and then you will just put all the crits and share all the force 2 markers so that you can just keep pushing your opponents that much. And with high power, a lot of crits, you're just trying to win the game as early as you can. Because even though this deck, you can just keep opening different circles or keep getting PGs, but you don't want to play a long game. You want to use high power, use up all your opponent's hands, give them as much damage as possible, and win from there. Yeah, so that's basically the deck content, and let's do some sample actions on what you can do with this deck. Okay, so for Grade 1, you usually want at least one of them in hand, and if you are going second, great, because your opponent will ride on Grade 1, and you can just ride your Meep, Soul Blast, and look at top 7 and try to search yourself, most likely her. Or if you already have Grade 2, then her or her. That's what you usually want to do. And if you don't have any of these, try to Malik in your whole hand until you meet at least a Grade 1 and a Grade 2. And probably if you have like both and you don't have anything but Grade 3s, then that's still fine, because you can still try to use your Seer to search for your Grade 2. And since we are only running 8 Grade 2, so I won't suggest you to put her out early game, because Lizelot can consider herself as a Grade 1 to be called, but since we're only running 8 Grade 2s, if that's the only Grade 2 you have in hand, unless you already able to search with these for your Grade 2 Sonata, I won't suggest you to call her out. But yeah, if you can find her, then basically just call it Lizelot and try to call something out and swing with it. That's totally fine. Okay, and then once you enter Grade 2s, you'll be writing one of her or her, but doesn't matter. Just write what you can, and once you start entering Grade 3s, that's what's the amazing part starting. So hopefully you want to write her. If not her, basically that's your options, unless you have no options. If you have one of them, just write them. Most priority plan, and depending if you're going first or second, if you are going first, then you probably won't be using her skill and just do some normal swings. And if you're going second, so like as long as your opponents get into Grade 3, then what you need to do is to place up whatever melody units you want to put in Soul, which you have all of the options. These. But let's talk about the priorities. So if you ask me, priority will be 1, first priority, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Why? It's because as long as you have her in your Soul, whenever you call whatever units that with melody ability, you can Soul Charge 1. So you just keep Soul Charging, and through there you probably will meet at least one of the Sonata, or maybe one Carol, because you're running 4 of the Sonata, 3 of the Carol, so you will probably be able to meet with them very, very soon. And even if you Soul Charge a lot of random stuff that is not melody skill, you can still Soul Blast 3 to do some guard restriction, so that's already helping. Then you just try to build your board up with like melody units, and get an exile circle, so you can just have another one, and just try to build your Soul with like this, and this, and you have her. Then when you count your stuff, you can just basically put here and put your stuff right here, and just count all the numbers and build up your board with whatever that is melody, of course, and just swing until you win. Because even if they are gone, when you place new melody units, you will Soul Charge, and you probably will meet more melody units. then you just basically just do this every single turn, unless you meet a like at least a lot. You try to pull yourself another melee unit into your soul, or maybe on the field, depending if you have enough soul to share skill or you need attackers. And use her to search, and she also kind of protects your melee units because the unit that is with the same line of this card cannot be attacked. So it's kind of a protection, but they will still be gone if they get retired by skills or a bind or whatever, but at least they won't get attacked. So that's something big already. So yeah, basically set up your board, keep soul charging, but don't do it recklessly. If you find yourself having like basically 2 Sonata, 1 or 2 Carol, and then at least 1 cannon, and maybe a grade 2 Sonata, then you're probably already good enough for your board. And just use those skills to fight, and just try to save your other melee units so that you can play strong attackers and booster on the field and win from there. Yeah, so kind of simple, just some little setup, and this deck will be good to go. Yeah, nothing too much to say, but if you have any questions, of course, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll help answer them so that you can play this deck smoothly and enjoy it. So yeah, before I end this video, I want to say this deck is probably I won't say the strongest, because if you're including random factor, Highlander could be the strongest, but this deck is kind of more stable even if you have a lot of Great Freeze and you play it like a Gridora deck that you play a lot of Great Freeze, but this one is up to 18, so it's already like quite a lot. So but whenever I play against this deck, for some reason my friend just usually get the great one, and because he's always going second and his meep always get active because I'm already on grade 1, he rides, and then just Soul Blast 1 and search, and probably just get a grade 2 from there. And then once you get your grade 1 and grade 2, your whole deck, like most of them are grade 3, so you will meet at least one of them. And as long as you get your Sonata and Plan, then you can just keep working out. If you got Plan, go the new way, building up your Excel circles, draw more cards, and pump all the powers. Even if you go to Sonata, it's still a like old way of playing the deck, but just deck is already strong, and with Plan, multiplying the power a lot more times is even more crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically everything I need to say. Again, any questions, leave them in comments below. I will answer them, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.